The biggest piece of advice I wish people had shared with me earlier in life is it's really a superhero power when you ask for help. You do have to live your own road, but you are not alone. There are all kinds of support groups. There
Yep.
are people like you and I that have fortunately, unfortunately, however your perspective that day might be, gone through what we've gone through. You can most certainly reach out to us. But when you are bold and brave and vulnerable and ask for help, it's a superhero power. You're really putting trust back into yourself. You're saying, hey, I am worthy of not feeling like this anymore. So I'm not going to. So let's do something about it. And the great thing is, there are people who would love to help you feel much better.
A mental health break. We are back, and I'm excited to bring on a fellow TBI survivor. We're going to dive into her whole journey, recovery, everything in between. But she also helps people with the reconnection through intellectual, energetic, and physical exercises. The biggest thing I saw in her, and I put it in bold when I found her info, self-doubt to self-trust. I think no matter how sufficient we are in this area, we can always improve. We always have that little itty bitty committee in our head. So I'm looking forward to getting some advice today. So, everyone, again, this is a mental health break. Welcome back. And we welcome our guest today, Cori. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and to be able to share some of the little love nuggets that I've learned along the way.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to you introducing yourself soon to the whole audience. But if this is your first time with us, this is the podcast where we normalize the conversation on mental health. I try to bring on perspectives from many areas, including professionals, to let you know that you're not alone. Today, we have a truly inspiring testimonial just about 3 years since the TBI. If you followed my story, you know some of the things I went through, but every brain is unique. This is something that affects everyone different. So we're going to dive right into TBI today. Cori, please start from wherever you feel comfortable with this experience.
Well, I'll be honest, I'm a Midwesterner at heart, so we could be here for hours, and I know we don't have that much time. But I'm very grateful that several years before I was in a really nasty car accident in which I received my TBI, that I was introduced to more of holistic health. So learning about mindset and learning about energy work. So when I was in the trauma unit, I'm playing meditation music. I am working on running Reiki through my body, which Reiki is a Japanese energy technique, which is the intentional movement of energy through our body, which helps to reduce inflammation. It helps to better balance the body. And so I kept having doctors and nurses being like, "Are you okay? Are you experiencing chest pains?" I'm like, "No, I'm running energy. It's Memorial Day weekend. Not that anybody wants to be here, but I know I've got to get myself in the best shape possible. So no offense, I can get out of here." So I do not recommend getting rolled in a car twice or getting hit by a car at 60 miles per hour straight into your vehicle. I only remember going upside down once. That's the good bad of it because I went
Oh
upside
my
down a couple
goodness.
of times. But I'm very, very grateful that I've had a host of people working with me because, yes, we have our own path, but we don't have to do it alone.
I just put that as we're typing the support circle for when we go live here. It's everything. It doesn't have to be parents. It could be friends, mentors, mentees, someone. You can't do anything alone in life, especially a traumatic brain injury where there's so much uncertainty. What was the most challenging part for you in the beginning of this recovery?
For me, I was still in corporate and
Wow.
working with my employer to get out of Excel spreadsheets and to be able to have the capacity to let my brain heal. All the doctors were telling me the worst thing you can possibly do is your day job. Please quit. I'm like, great, thanks. I can't afford to do that quite yet. And thankfully now I am full time and I'm able to help others. Okay, how do we mitigate as much as possible? So for me, it was really finding that balance of I still have to do every day while relearning what is every day. What is today going to bring? Because if you've had that kind of an injury, you never know what the next day will bring. Some days are up, some days are down, some hours it's up and down.
It's some things are day to day, some are week to week, month to month with the TBI and brain injuries. That for me was scarier than the other injuries I had. Is the same for you?
Yeah. Yeah. I with another injury, you can actually see what's healing. Like if I injure my arm, I can see, okay, the bruises are going away,
Yep.
the scabs are healing. With the brain, you don't know what you don't know. So I'm a huge fan of journaling for this
Okay.
exact reason. I'm a huge fan of gratitude journaling. But if you've had an injury like we've had, I highly recommend keeping track of today was a good day, or I have more hours that felt normal than not. So when you start having, hey, I've had 3 days without a headache. This is amazing. This I wasn't
Wow.
here 3 months ago. Let's celebrate this. Or I've noticed I'm not pulling the wrong words. I can do coherent conversations. I never thought that would be a big deal in my 40s, but
Yep.
here I am. And I'm beyond grateful that 9 times out of 10, I'm now able to carry on that conversation. And we talked briefly before we jumped on the video about memory. Okay, so today I am remembering what I did yesterday. I'm remembering what I ate for breakfast. I never thought that these would be big deals before much later in life. But now I'm like, okay, I have strategies in which will keep me in much better shape. So when the so-called time later happens where we are more prone for memory issues, I've got the tools and strategies
I
to be
love
in
that.
much better shape.
I love the proactive take you're taking on all this, and congratulations on all the progress that you put forward now. And I remember the like not remembering what I had for lunch. It's a scary thing. I mean, it is what it's scary and just having to get up and do it again. And then eventually piece by piece it comes back. I mean, the way you're speaking, you sound great. You never would know that it was that recent. So I think that's a testament to the hard work it takes to rehab. As many people listening on today, rehabbing in different areas of our lives, it's challenging getting back to where we need to be. But
Yeah,
I like how you also touched on building these strategies for later in life.
yeah.
Everyone knows that's listening in. I always highlight what works for some doesn't work for everyone. You've touched on Reiki, you've touched on breathing. What are some other strategies that are in your tool chest that we can share with our audience?
Sure. So I really started diving in more so on the holistic route for my recovery. I found that the neurologist I went to just wanted to give me pills and send me back home. I'm like, this isn't going to help me actually recover. It may be a
Right.
great band-aid, but it's not
Exactly.
a long-term strategy. So I found that working with chiropractic, working with acupuncture, with other healers, whether they be energy like Reiki practitioners, shamans. As I'm big on, okay, so if I went through this traumatic thing, what parts of my energy are still stuck? And where is my body holding on to that? And how do I shift that? Because we all have this opportunity, just like our brain, the rest of our body can continue to build us forward, can help shift that story.
Yes.
Uh, I'm also a huge fan of hyperbaric oxygen chambers. They've been shown to not only help with brain injuries and recovery, but helping our blood do what they need and what it needs to do. So that helps with ADHD. That helps some individuals I know use it for their kids with autism. So many great different, I guess, avenues that these different resources can help. And then another modality that I'm a huge fan of is infrared light. And I found I've always been barometric sensitive. It helps my headaches stay
Okay.
away. So,
It sounds like you did your research and you did some trial and error, and everyone out there, I hope one of these tools can add value to your life. You may already be using one. Definitely reach out to her. You'll find out her info soon enough, excuse me, of how to say hello and let her know how those practices are working for you. We've already touched on so much in such a little time, which I really love when I bring on guests. What is your biggest passion each day? I know with the traumatic brain injury for me, I needed goals, I needed things to push me forward. 10 years later, it's still the same way. These goals just keep me motivated and challenging myself. What are some passions that you found after this brain injury? Maybe they were existent beforehand, but
Yeah.
things that keep you going. Because everyone, we need to, I could be better at this, making more time for it, but some part of every week needs to be blocked for a you day where you're doing things that you like.
Yeah, so I love the concept of having a U day, and I am kind of a U day provider. So I have that servant-based heart where I am very passionate about helping one more person feel less like we did right after the accident, or having less anxiety in their life. And for me, people will talk about, oh, well, I love the concept of self-care Sunday. And self-care Sunday can be any day of the week. If you're an entrepreneur and you're working Sundays and Tuesday is your day off, make sure you're carving a little bit of time, okay, a lot of time to have downtime. Rest is so crucial and so important. So for me, it's just further, I guess, ingrained or engraved into my heart. If I can help one person know that, yeah, we're on our own journey, but you don't have to do it alone, then I've done what I'm supposed to be doing here on this earth.
Very well said. And that's a great heart. And you're certainly going to be helping even more people today after they learn how to get in touch with you. It's an up and down journey every single day, but we have to just keep putting our best foot forward. A little thing you said before, I forgot to comment on when you had your traumatic brain injury, you're in the hospital and it's a holiday. The mental health burden that adds on top. When I was here in Tampa with my traumatic brain injury, we had our Gasparilla holiday. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but it's like our Mardi Gras. And it was my senior year of college. So I'm watching the boats go by on the water and I'm stuck in a hospital bed. So all of those little things that are in our past for you listening or viewing on, they'll be different, but keep using them to propel you forward. I have to ask, what's next for you? What are you working on?
So, what's next for me is helping to get out the good word of Reiki as really being a self-care tool that you can utilize for yourself and for your family. So, traditionally with Reiki, there are three different levels. There's Reiki level one, which is all about self-care. I showed up for Reiki level one thinking I'm going to go help everybody else and got smacked properly in the forehead energetically, not realistically, thankfully, no brain injury, but with the reminder of you have to learn how to take care of yourself first. Complete sentence. Have to take care of yourself. And one of the things I'm really passionate about carrying forward with that servant-based heart, or with that service-based heart, is helping individuals know that they can do Reiki themselves. I
Yeah.
love you coming in. I love helping to do remote sessions as well. But you can have a healing or a balancing tool in your toolbox for yourself and your family that you don't have to schedule an appointment for to have in your home.
Let's keep talking about this more as you're saying and implying it's not as popularized. There's not as enough information out it. So why don't we just keep doing some service for it? I could see your passion through it right through the screen. Let's talk more
Yeah.
about it.
So I love, one of the reasons I love Reiki is it is a non-invasive treatment. You don't have to move your body. You don't have to go back through the trauma in order for your body to release it.
Yeah.
It is an active form of meditation. So you can do Reiki whether you're sitting up, you can do Reiki whether you're laying down, wherever shape your body might be in, literally on a hospital bed, still with a neck brace and an IV in my arm, I was running Reiki through myself and explaining to hospital staff what I was doing. Like, your competitors across the street know about this. They're recommending it to their, cancer patients. They're recommending it to the kids in the kids hospital. So I am very excited that I've had a couple of people approach me. Hey, I heard on the Kardashians that they went and did a Reiki session. Cool. That means it's getting mainstream.
Exactly.
At the
Yeah.
same time, Harvard has a study that even just one Reiki session can help reduce your anxiety. Excellent. The science is catching up.
Yeah.
It's not, through 200 plus years ago that the starters or the founders of the modality were like, hey, here's all the little science nits and nit and gritties. They just knew it worked. And I love it when science and the woo or the energetic finally meet and science can help support that.
Well, it's conversations like we're having right now. You bringing more and more awareness to everything that's going on will help get the word out there. Another point that I can relate to what you said in the beginning, as you do these shows, you have to hold back some talking points to go with the flow of the conversation. When you talked about the temporary band-aid where they're like pill, 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 XYZ, I can relate to that in the beginning. It was just, oh, you may be depressed. Here's something. You may get this. And then I found myself living in this like cloud type space where I
Yeah.
had to slowly but surely take myself off all of them, where I was like, this will be a lifelong dependency, a lifelong crutch where I won't be able to sleep without this pill or whatever the other ones are doing. I won't be able to do this. So can certainly relate with you there. But before I get your contact info, before we sign off, what's one piece of advice you can give to any of our mental health champions out there today who are going through a tough time, TBI or not?
I think the biggest piece of advice I wish people had shared with me earlier in life is it's really a superhero power when you ask for help. You do have to like live your own road, but you are not alone. There are all kinds of support groups. There
Yep.
are people like you and I that have fortunately, unfortunately, however your perspective that day might be, gone through what we've gone through. You can most certainly reach out to us. But when you are bold and brave and vulnerable and ask for help, it's a superhero power. You're really putting trust back into yourself. You're saying, hey, I am worthy of not feeling like this anymore. So I'm not going to. So let's do something about it. And the great thing is, there are people who would love to help you feel much better.
What a last word piece of advice. And as we said earlier in the show, we were talking about you can't do things alone. There are people, mentors in businesses who volunteer. Something I love to do is Big Brothers, Big Sisters. There are ways to get involved and make a difference. Everyone out there, she certainly made a difference today. I want to thank you so much, Cori, for taking the time to come on this show. Please let everyone know where they can say hello to you.
Yeah, the easiest way to find me, honestly, is Instagram. And my username is Cori Stuart Holistic Healer. And that's CoriStuart. Once you figure out how to spell my name, it's really easy to
I
find
was just
me.
gonna do it. That's why I'm smiling.
Yeah, once you have the basics for me down, it's really easy. I'm very active on Instagram. I've got a Facebook support group. I
Great.
also am getting more and more active on LinkedIn and slowly but surely diving into YouTube Shorts. And I also have a website. So I'd be honored to be of support. And I offer Reiki trainings both in person as well as remotely, because I understand not everybody's in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, but everybody should have the opportunity to be able to take care of themselves.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Everyone, be sure to go check her out and say hello online. As we're recording this, we are both safe from the storm that just passed. The show is at a mental health break on all podcast platforms, excuse me. You can check us out on social media too. Throw us a follow there. And I am at Vincent A. Lanci on all social and YouTube as well. The show is brought to you by Coming Alive Podcast Production. Learn more about them at comingalivepodcastproduction.com. And with that, today we are signing off Charlotte to St. Petersburg. Cori, thank you so much for reaching out, connecting, and now sharing your story, inspiring not just TBI survivors, but so many people. Thank you.
Yeah, truly my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm truly honored to be of service.